Alright, gather round because I'm about to spill the tea on Medusa. You know, the snake-haired lady who turns people to stone? Well, there's a lot more to her story than just that. Medusa is often depicted as a terrifying monster, but she wasn't always that way. In fact, her transformation into the Gorgon we know today is a tale filled with beauty, tragedy, and betrayal. Once upon a time, Medusa was a mortal woman and she was breathtakingly beautiful. We're talking drop-dead gorgeous, the kind of beauty that could stop people in their tracks. Her beauty was so renowned that it caught the attention of many, including the gods themselves. But it wasn't just her looks that made her special. Medusa was known for her incredible hair, long, flowing, and the envy of every woman in Greece. It was said that her hair shone like the sun and was as soft as silk. Women would look at her with envy, wishing they could have even a fraction of her beauty. But Medusa wasn't just a pretty face, she was also kind and gentle, nothing like the monster she's often portrayed as. She had a warm heart and was loved by many for her kindness and generosity. But, as we all know, beauty can attract unwanted attention, and in Medusa's case, it led to a tragic chain of events. Her beauty caught the eye of Poseidon, the god of the sea, and that was the beginning of her downfall. Now let's talk about Poseidon, you know, the god of the sea, bit of a player, that one. He had a thing for Medusa, and one day he made his move. The problem was, Medusa wasn't interested, she wanted nothing to do with him. This rejection didn't sit well with Poseidon. He was used to getting what he wanted, and in a fit of rage he took advantage of Medusa in Athena's temple. It was a horrific act of violence and a violation of a sacred space. Now you'd think Athena, the goddess of wisdom and justice, would punish Poseidon for this, right? Well, that's where things get really messed up. Instead of blaming Poseidon, Athena decided to punish Medusa. Athena transformed Medusa into a hideous creature with snakes for hair. Anyone who dared look at her directly would be turned to stone. Can you believe that? Punishing the victim instead of the perpetrator? It's a classic case of victim blaming. Section 4. The truth about the serpents and the stone stare. Now some say that Medusa's snake hair and stone gaze were meant to protect her from further harm. According to ancient myths, Medusa was once a beautiful maiden, but her beauty caught the unwanted attention of Poseidon. After a tragic encounter in Athena's temple, she was transformed into a Gorgon by the goddess herself. They say it was Athena's way of giving her power in a world where men like Poseidon could act with such impunity. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, perhaps saw this transformation as a form of protection, a way to ensure that Medusa would never be harmed again. But was it truly a gift, or a curse in disguise? But let's be real, turning someone into a monster isn't exactly a kindness. The transformation was excruciating both physically and emotionally. Medusa's once admired beauty became a source of terror, isolating her from the world she once knew. She was forced to live in solitude, her very presence turning those who looked at her into stone. Medusa was ostracized, feared, and ultimately slain by Perseus. The hero Perseus, armed with a mirrored shield and divine weapons, was able to behead Medusa, using her head as a weapon against his enemies. Her death was celebrated, but it also marked the end of her suffering. Her story became a cautionary tale, but not about the dangers of male aggression. Instead, it was twisted into a narrative warning against the supposed dangers of female power and autonomy. Medusa's tale was used to reinforce the idea that powerful women were to be feared and controlled. No, it was about the supposed danger of female power. Medusa's legacy, however, has been reclaimed in modern times as a symbol of resilience and strength. She represents the struggle against victimization and the reclaiming of one's own narrative. In the end, Medusa's story is not just one of tragedy but also of empowerment and defiance. Section 5. Thanks for listening. Medusa deserved better. Today we delved into the story of Medusa, a figure often misunderstood and misrepresented in mythology. So there you have it. Medusa's tale is not just one of horror and monstrosity, but one of deep injustice and sorrow. The real gossip about Medusa is far more tragic than the stories we've been told. She was a beautiful maiden cursed by Athena, not for her own sins, but as a consequence of being wronged by Poseidon. A woman wronged, betrayed, and unjustly punished. Her transformation into a Gorgon was not a reflection of her character, but a cruel twist of fate. She was more than just a monster, more than just a myth. Medusa was a symbol of resilience and strength, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. She was a victim of circumstance, and it's time we remembered her that way. Her story is a reminder of how history can be twisted and how important it is to seek the truth. Thanks for letting me share this with you. It's crucial to re-examine these ancient tales and understand the real people behind the myths. It's important that we revisit these old stories and challenge the narratives that have been passed down through generations. By doing so, we honor the true essence of these characters and their experiences. Medusa deserved better, and it's up to us to tell her story truthfully. Let's continue to question, learn, and share these stories with the respect and understanding they deserve.